Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC Live here on ESPN Plus. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Shaka Hislop, Frank Leboeuf and Ali Moreno. Lots going on, of course, today. Later on in the show, a bumper preview of that must-win clash for the US as they take on Iran. We'll discuss the rumours of Messi going to Inter Miami, plus strange goings-on at Juventus. We'll break down everything you need to know about the board resigning. We'll kick things off, though. The favourites to win the World Cup. Brazil in action against Switzerland. They made it 2 wins out of 2. It looked like they were going to be frustrated by the Swiss, but in the end, a brilliant goal from Casemiro would prove to be the difference between the two sides. Brazil then make it through to the knockout stages. Switzerland still very much alive in the group. They win on the final day. They will be joining Brazil in the round of 16. I suppose the big question, Ali, going into this was how would Brazil cope without Neymar? What answer did they give us?
Well, the first answer had to be given by Tite and what his reaction was going to be and what his decision was going to be. And I didn't like it.
Paqueta coming in.
Well, Paqueta was playing, but Fred came in. So Fred now is dropping in and playing with Casemiro, and Paqueta sort of playing the role of Neymar. I would have left Paqueta right alongside Casemiro and actually put Rodrigo in the position of Neymar, so Rodrigo has the freedom to do the things that he does so very well. The team changed when Rodrigo came on the field, and Brazil became better when he was on the field. This idea of having to play with two holding midfielders if you're Brazil, when you're playing against a team in Switzerland that really made no effort whatsoever to attack, Switzerland were simply playing for the draw. Simple as that. That's all they were doing. And Brazil was playing into their hands because now you have two holding midfielders, and Fred doesn't really give you much in the attacking half. The game got better for Brazil, slightly better for Brazil early in the second half. The substitution of Rodrigo made a difference. And then once Brazil just kind of started moving the ball a little bit quicker in the final third, and Switzerland was just kind of hanging on, and there was no threat that they were going to go on the attack. They were never able to get out. It was a matter of time. You would have thought it would have come from Rodrigo, would have come from Vinicius, would have come from Richarlison, but you'll take it if it came from Casemiro, and what a goal it was from him.
It was a goal that just came from nothing, really.
Yeah, but the end was quite exceptional.
Yeah.
Fantastic volley, even if it was a little bit deflected by the defender. I think what Casemiro brought is what you love about midfield players, when they go and carry on and play and score goals to help the strikers maybe a little bit stuck with the defense. I think they deserved it. There was a previous goal been disallowed for almost nothing, Richarlison being offside. But going back to what Neymar can bring to the game, I think he brings the mess in the other side. By his attitude maybe, but also because of his football. Because he brings the pace that you were talking about, and that we don't have with Paqueta, of course with Fred. But Tite had the right to be wrong at first. I like the fact that he recovered by putting Rodrigo on and Paqueta out, and then the game changed.
Brazil were nowhere near their best today. No, they didn't really have to get out of second gear, yet they still get the win. They're still unbeaten, and they're still through to the next round.
They certainly didn't need to get out of second gear. They didn't need to do an awful lot to get a point out of this, because Ali's right. Switzerland came very disciplined in their approach to pick up a point, understandably, when you come up against a team like Brazil. And in the only time, really, that the Swiss were caught napping, so to speak, in the first half. Vinicius Jr. kind of goes around the blind side, defender doesn't track him, and he doesn't catch the volley as cleanly as and Jan Sommer, who's an outstanding goalkeeper, made easy work of that. My complaint about Brazil, particularly in that first half, and Ali's right, until Rodrigo comes on, is nobody being prepared to play in those little half spaces that Neymar just thrives in. That gives defenders so much to think about. The Swiss were disciplined, Brazil equally so, and it seemed as though Brazil were just happy to play that disciplined game and hope that something happened because they had the better players, and the Swiss were happy just to ride out the 90 minutes and see what happened. Then Rodrigo comes in, and the goal that was disallowed was Richarlison coming from deep into that half spot. Yes, he started off in an offside position. That was the right call. And then when the deadlock broken by Casemiro, again, popping up in a position that not expected to, and as a result, the Swiss didn't know how to adjust. And brilliant finish by him. But that was the biggest miss for me in not having Neymar on the park. Somebody just to sit in those half spaces. So the defense aren't sure, do they come forward? Midfield aren't sure, do we drop back? And that allows space for your wingers, who otherwise were brilliant. I have to say, I thought Rafinha was poor today. But gives those players the kind of space that they need, and they thrive it.
I think after 2 games, general consensus, 2 best teams we've seen is France and Brazil. What are you doing?
I'm checking the names of some players, if you don't mind. You know, Brazil against Switzerland. So I want to, well, while you give me the opportunity to cut
You've had all
off,
day. You've had all day to prepare. You have to do it when we're live.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. So can you have some doubts? You don't have any doubts in your life, you know. So you want to make sure.
I've got many doubts.
Just one thing about, we're going to talk about Brazil, but I just want to point the fact that one day we're going to have to admit that Sommer is one of the best goalkeepers in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Because what he does for like the past 2 years, and he's been not mentioned because he doesn't belong to the top team, is, as for me, exceptional.
Yeah.
Just. Well,
Would you prefer to be Brazilian or France or French after what we've seen so far?
In
What
general,
kind of-
or just today?
yeah, exactly. What a question. I always said that Brazil, for me, were the favorites.
Right.
And I still believe that they are more complete than the French national team, especially because France had some injuries inside the squad. And I still now believe that they're more armed to win that World Cup than the French team. But every game you have to prove that you deserve to win. And I'm going to stay. I'm going to stuck with. I'm going to be. Oh, no, sorry. I'm going to stick to the fact that Brazil can win the World Cup. But I'm sorry, as a French guy, I have to go for my French side.
I'm sorry. So we're sticking with Brazil, but we're staying French.
There is the talk and there is the inner of the talk.
I've just been told your answer was Denmark. Elsewhere in the group, of course, both teams going into this tie, knowing a win would see them through after what we saw take place earlier on in the day. What a game between Cameroon and Serbia. Serbia 3-1 up, Cameroon then getting it back to get a point, meaning they have it all to play for going into the final round of matches. For more on this, let's welcome Nedum Onuoha. Hey, Nedum, some of that Serbian defending was like you back in the day.
Oh, wow. Wow, Dan, you think I was that good? You think I was that good? Wow, thank you so much, Dan. What a great response. No, this was a great game. Really, really was.
Yeah.
I think when you saw Cameroon take the lead, you're thinking, well, this is them. They're going to crack on. They're going to do great in the game. But then before you know it, they're essentially being outplayed by the Serbians, and they're 3-1 down. And I think one thing I've found in this sort of second round of fixtures, there's a sense of desperation that's come from the teams who sort of fall behind. And the response from Cameroon was incredible. They basically played in a 4-2-4. They had Toko Akambe, they had Abubakar, they had Choupo-Moting, they had Mbuma, and they really, really went for it. And this finish here, I genuinely believe Abubakar's only done this because he thought it was offside. That's why he didn't celebrate. But then the joy as it went into the net and the VAR said it was a goal was incredible. And then this one here for Choupo-Moting as well. It was a very, very key decision from the right back for the second time now to just drop that little bit too deep. But it's just good to see that a team will go for it when something is on the line. And it made for a great, great game. I think the Serbians will feel so disappointed that they didn't come out and finish the tie off. You know, 3-1 up playing the way they were playing. But it just goes to show, whilst the clock's still going there, you've still got time. Something's still in your favour. And if you go for it, anything is possible.
It's just frozen there, obviously. How good was that, Abubakar? It's all right, Nedum. You just froze for a moment. Just finish off what you were saying.
I don't remember which bit I got up to, but with Abubakar, I think it was an incredible finish. You can see he's kind of only done it because he was offside. But, you know, the skill, the run itself was fantastic. And I was delighted for them. You know, it looked like they were so down when it was 3-1. But then before you know it, they're straight back in, it's 3-3. And come the end of the game, both teams are thinking they probably didn't lose it. So now as they go into that next game, there's something on the line for them. And, yeah, from some of the football that they've played and the goals that they've scored, why would you not believe that you're going to be able to get through to the next round?
That finish was naughty, Ali. So naughty. I love those.
Yeah, well, it was beautiful, right? Now, Nedum is saying he already knew or thought he was offside, so therefore that's what he was going to do, just to kind of play it off. I'm thinking, let's give the guy some credit.
Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe, he figured out, you know, this is the only way that I'm getting it around the goalkeeper. In this case, over the goalkeeper. This is the only way that I'm going to score it. Let me tell you something. There's some things over the top, and then there is what he did. This scoop had some height on it.
Yeah.
Had some real...
That's a lob wedge, right?
Yeah. One of your love wedges.
No, that would have hit the goalkeeper right.
Regardless, though, when you have so much time to think about how you're going to finish a chance, there is, and I speak from experience with this, there is perhaps the slightest chance that you may just think too much and are unable to come up with the right answer. And whether he was trying to do it or not, he came up with the right answer. That was gorgeous.
It keeps them alive, but obviously Cameroon's next game is against Brazil, who will go into the tie knowing that they're already through. Meanwhile, elsewhere, it is Switzerland that will take on Serbia. Switzerland in the driving seat, avoiding defeat would be enough for them, in theory, to grab that second place. Who are you going for, Ishak? Who's going through?
I think Brazil, Switzerland. I think, listen, I understand Cameroon's still in the tie, Brazil already through, and you kind of prefer to be playing the favourites at this point, third as your third game of the tournament. But I still think Brazil, even if you make changes, this squad is just so deep.
Yeah.
And even if TJ makes changes, he has so much talent to call on, and then players are given an opportunity to play their way into his starting lineup, and that is something you don't want to be facing, a talented side with something to prove. And if you're Cameroon, I just fear that even a second string Brazil is a little too far to climb.
Who you got, Nathan?
So I did have Brazil and Switzerland going through, but I don't think it's just going to be an obvious result in that Brazil game, because when it comes down to Cameroon, they will not give up. They've got one game to potentially get themselves into the next round. And even though Brazil technically do have the better players and, you know, they're in the better moment, as we can see from the game today, you know, they were 3-1 down. It was all done and dusted until it wasn't. So I am going to go for those two, but I do believe that the game will be a lot tighter than we think.
Quick picks, gentlemen. Ali?
Brazil, Switzerland. You wanted it quick, right?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Same thing.
Yes.
Next topic.
Yep. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.